Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Monday, January 9th. And boy, we got SLOP Fest 2017 that starts this week. It's going to start off with snow, maybe change to rain. And then as we get into Wednesday night and Thursday, we got a good chance of freezing rain that maybe mixes with a little bit of snow at the beginning and then changes over to rain over the southern areas. And then possibly snow as we get towards the weekend or later in the weekend. It could turn to heavy rain. So again, a very, very sloppy active pattern coming up here over the next 7 days. Our normal for the day is 27 for a high and 11 for a low. And if we look at the warmest and coolest conditions across the lower 48 yesterday, the warmest temperature 82 degrees at San Pasqual Valley, California, and the coldest temperature 34 below zero at Cotton, Minnesota. If we look at the conditions around the MAC area yesterday, you can see temperatures mainly in the teens, lows mainly in the single digits, and you can see now for the month we're at minus 2.8 degrees per day. If we look at conditions around the area this morning, you can see temperatures mainly in the teens across much of the area, and you can see our winter weather advisory off here with a southwest wind flow event. Again, that's set to expire at 8 o'clock this morning, and then I think we'll see a whole new set of winter weather advisories across much of the area as we get in for tonight and tomorrow as a system moves this way with some good overrunning snow. And you can see on radar this morning that area of enhanced snowfall, again courtesy of cold winds coming up over a large stretch of Lake Michigan, giving some of this area some pretty significant snow. We picked up about 3/10 of an inch of snow here in the Breckenridge area overnight, so not a big deal, but you can see some of that snow again. It'll be moving off to the east. This area will begin to dissipate here shortly. If we look at the weather map this morning, you can see a low pressure system in Iowa. Again, these systems are going to keep training in from the west, and eventually we expect that frontal boundary to stall out over the northern Ohio Valley, and that's going to bring copious amounts of precipitation to the Great Lakes here over the next 7 days. As we get into the forecast map for tomorrow, you can see a low pressure system with that warm front. That will have spread the snowfall across much of the area overnight into early Tuesday, and then I think we have a chance of a mixture of rain and snow as that system moves off to the east. And then we're going to watch another system develop as we get into Wednesday. And again, this area could bring quite a bit of freezing rain, and some very cold air is going to try to push south, and it's going to determine how far south that cold front is as to who gets the heaviest freezing rain. It could be an all-out ice storm for parts of northern lower Michigan, possibly even farther south, something we got to keep a very close eye on. And to the south, mainly just plain rain. And if we look at the amount of precipitation just over the next 48 hours, with plenty more to come after this, you can see much of central Michigan is going to be up around 8, 9 to possibly an inch of rain, maybe a little bit more than that, with amounts down around a quarter to a half inch as you get into far southern lower Michigan. So again, it's going to be a very sloppy week coming up. As far as snowfall potential of 4 or more inches here over the next 72 hours, you can see much of central Michigan expected that there's a reasonably good chance you could see 4 or more inches, and I think actually probably even a better chance than that. If we look at the amount of snowfall expected off the INSUP model over the next 3 days, and this would be at the 75% max potential, you can see much of the area picking up 3 to 5 inches, possibly even a little more once you get up towards Newaygo or towards Saginaw and off to the north. As far as the Canadian model, you can see much of the area picking up anywhere between 2 or 3 inches all the way up to 5 or 6 as you get up into the central locations. And again, this is very similar to the GFS, where we've got this area here across central and north central lower Michigan that could pick up a little more than that. As far as precipitation over the next 7 days from INSUP, you can see many areas down in southeast lower Michigan are going to approach 2 inches of rainfall, with 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 up into south central lower Michigan, with all the lower peninsula expecting to get over 1 inch rain over the next 7 days. And if we look at the GFS model here over the next 10 days, you can see many areas across southeast lower Michigan between 2 and 4.5 inches of rain, with all of the MAC area and much of lower Michigan expected to pick up greater than 2 inches of rainfall. So again, the models are pretty well in sync as far as some heavy precipitation over the next week or so. As far as snowfall over the next 7 days from the GFS, you can see a very significant amount of snow expected from around the Tri-Cities off to the north. And again, depictions here of 1.5 feet of snow or more are possible. Again, much of this though may be in the form of freezing rain rather than snow. It's just something we're going to have to keep an eye on, that Wednesday system. And again, for the system late in the weekend, that could be a significant weather maker as well. So 3 distinct systems that's coming our way to produce quite a bit of precipitation. Now, as far as the Canadian, you can see around a half a foot of snow or more expected on the Canadian model here over the next 7 days. Much of that coming here over the next couple of days. And if we look at the weather watch this morning, you can see a number of winter weather advisories extended all the way from the southern portions of the UP through much of Wisconsin into west central lower Michigan. But again, these will expire, and I think shortly after these expire, the National Weather Service is likely then to reissue those across much of the lower peninsula, mainly in this area I've got outlined here. I think we'll fill in with winter weather advisories from that overrunning snow. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, a great work week, and 73s to all.